Hey everybody, I am here with John Glaude, also known as Obese to Beast. Sorry, that's always
Yes.
always a tongue twister there. He has a YouTube channel, Obese to Beast. He's on Twitter, Instagram. He also plays the Xbox One.
Oh, yeah.
And he is the epitome. We're all about positive gaming. He's the epitome of positive gaming. So how's it going, John?
It's going amazing.
Good, good. So why don't you just start by introducing yourself to the audience?
For the beautiful. My name is John Glaude, and so the reason that my name is Obese to Beast on all the social medias, obviously, is because I recently lost 170 pounds. So my channel and all my social media is very driven by being fit and losing weight and how to be healthy. And as of recently, how you guys probably found me was because before I was always kind of like I had that mindset that I think a lot of people do have, where it's like either I can go to the gym and lift weights and do that, or I could sit on the couch and play games and do that. You know what I mean? And I thought it was like before when I was heavier, it was like that's all I did was like play video games, watch Netflix. You know, that's it. And now I'm trying. So basically, I'm trying to spread the whole thing where it's like it's all about balancing your time, and you can play video games, you can go to the gym. It's just all about balancing all that out. So
Exactly.
but yeah, that's kind of me in a nutshell, I guess you could say.
But you just started recently streaming on Twitch, correct?
Yes. Oh my gosh, that is so much fun. Like I understand. I only get like right now it's very small. I only get like maybe 70 people. But it's just so much fun because it's one thing I get to play a video game, which I want to do anyways, right? Which I'm going to be doing. But then I get to talk to people that like support me, and they have it's the fastest way to be able to answer any question, right? If someone has a very specific question that they have, I can just sit there, read it, and then be playing Call of Duty and answer their question. And it's just so fast, and it's just so much fun too. You know what I mean? And then there's those times where we're able to get into a party and all play together, and it's really fun too.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah.
It is. How have you found it? For us, when we started streaming on Twitch, and not that we're great at it or anything, but it's a different talent playing and talking at the same time.
Gosh.
How have you found that?
So when I'm streaming, my ratio is terrible. It's so bad when I'm playing Call of Duty. Like I stream Call of Duty and I stream Grand Theft Auto. when I'm playing Grand Theft Auto, I usually just end up driving in circles and like talking to everyone. It's like they're like do a mission, and I'm like, but then I'll just die a bunch of times because I won't be paying attention.
Yeah.
And then when I'm playing Call of Duty, it'll just be like I'll be like, you guys, I promise when I'm not streaming, I get like at least third place. But when I'm streaming, it's like last place every time. And I'm like, oh well,
So, what games have you been playing on the Xbox? Or what games do you play on the Xbox One since you got
the
it?
games that I recently got it, right? Because like I was kind of like I wouldn't say I took a break from gaming, but I just didn't. I had a PS3 that I was playing for a while, and then I traded that in to get the Xbox One. But the games that I do have right now, I have Advanced Warfare. And Grand Theft Auto, those are the two that I normally stream, just because they seem to do well. People like to watch those, and then I also have Evolve. And I have UFC.
Oh,
so
nice.
those are the 4 games that I have. Like I said, I just got it recently, so I don't have very many.
Yeah,
games
no,
yet.
absolutely. How are you liking Evolve?
It's pretty fun. It's different. Like that's what's cool about it. That's what I like about it so much. It's like totally different from anything I've ever. Like you get to be the bad guy, or I mean, you could. It's all up to you what you think the bad guy is. You know what I mean? So I like that. I haven't been able to play it too much because honestly, I mean, usually when I end up playing video games, I'm streaming.
Yeah.
And when I'm streaming, people don't. It just doesn't do very well on stream. People like to watch Call of Duty and Grand Theft Auto. So I haven't been able to play it a bunch, but I have been able to play it a little bit, and it's really cool. It's different,
Yeah,
and that's what I like about it.
Yeah.
We
played
played
the beta.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
We got to be the hunters.
Yeah, we were only hunters, so we haven't jumped into that game yet, but we will in the future.
It's fun. It's cool. What I really like about it is, so when you're playing online, it's really cool because you get to see after the match is over, you kind of see what happened during the match, like where the monster was at one point, and you're like, oh my gosh, we weren't even close. You know what I mean? It's really cool because you can see the whole progression of the fight in like a matter of like 10 seconds. I thought that was really cool. I remember playing it and being like, that's slick. Like,
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that is cool.
It pops up like a little radar map almost.
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
of where everything happened. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
from
or
the
even
beta.
like you can be like, oh, we just missed him.
Yeah.
Like, if we would have turned left.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
I remembered I had when I bought my PS3, I bought it at GameStop, so I had a year subscription to Game Inform. You know how they do that, right?
Yeah.
And so I remember I usually I would read them sometimes, but not all the time. But I remember I saw Evolve, and like I forget what it was on the front page, right? It was on the cover, and I don't remember what like the title was, but it was like something pretty much along the lines probably of like be the hunter and be the monster, something like that like caught my eye. I was like, wait, what's that? You know, that looks interesting. And I remember it's one of the only games that I've actually read about very much, because I'm someone that likes to watch like trailers and like YouTube stuff. You know, that's just how I am. But I remember reading about it, and I spent a good like hour just kind of like reading about it and then looking it up online. And I remember when I saw it at GameStop when I bought my Xbox, I was like, I need to buy that game. Like I need to try that out. So
awesome.
It is a fun game. I think you guys would get into it.
Yeah, and most definitely, it looks very team oriented.
Yeah.
So.
It reminds me a lot of like Borderlands a lot.
Oh,
okay.
I don't know why, but it does.
Yeah,
it does. To
I
me.
can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what? Like you said, you had a PS3 before. What made you want to buy an Xbox One? Like what kind of caught your eye with the Xbox One? Yeah.
I've always been more of an Xbox fan.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I'm just gonna be honest with you, the reason I got the PS3 was this is I was just working at like a part-time job, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was Black Friday, and it was like really cheap, and it was super cheap. And so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna get this because I didn't have any system at all. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna buy something, and it was the cheapest at the time. So I just went with that, and I've since the new gen consoles have come out, I've always been like, I want to get an Xbox One over PS4. It's just, I don't know why. I've always been an Xbox person. Like I had the first Xbox, and then I had I used to have a 360 back in the day. My family still has one, but it's more of just like it's in the living room, so it's kind of a Netflix machine now. To be honest. And then I saw the Xbox One, and I knew that like out of the two, that's the one I would have chose. So that's kind of how that happened.
Yeah. Cool. We've had the Xbox for forever. We also had the PlayStation, but I think that's when people decide on the next gen. It's where's my ecosystem already?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So, awesome. I want to get to game. You mentioned that you used to be a guy that just gamed and watched Netflix, and then you've discovered the gym, and that's how, and then eating correctly, and that's how you lost all your weight. And how I actually originally found you was on Instagram. I like. Before going to the gym, I like looking at inspirational things, right? And so I love your Instagrams. Totally it's awesome. So anyways, can you talk maybe to our audience about how did you find that balance between playing video games and then doing something so positive, losing all this weight? How do you find that balance? What do you do? Stuff like that.
Well, for me, it was like I was that kid that was always overweight my whole life, right? From when I was like, I think I started gaining weight. I had like a hernia that kind of got me bedridden when I was like five years old. So I started gaining weight then, and just gained weight my whole life, right? Mm-hmm. But when I was gaining weight, I had always had gaming systems. That was always something that was in our house. You know what I mean? We always had the. I mean, it took us a while to get them, but we would always get them at some point. That was just something that was part of my life. You know, the amount of hours that I spent playing Tony Hawk is insane. That series is one of like my most played. But so like that was just kind of part of my life, and so obviously it got to a really bad point to where it was like this is. Like my weight obviously was getting to a point where it was like it wasn't like something that was just he's kind of overweight. It was like when you see me, it was like okay, something needs to happen, you know, or else you're gonna not to get too heavy on the podcast, but something if you don't change something terrible is gonna happen to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So I had to make that change, and for me, I realized how important like eating healthy was, and that's something as for people that play a lot of video games, as for me, and just people that are like sit down and do something where they're just kind of like, you know what I mean, sitting and watching or playing. Mm-hmm. It's eating healthy is hard because at least for me it was because when you're kind of sitting there, especially when you're playing a video game, it's like you end up playing for hours, right? Mm-hmm. And then you get hungry and like you might have something next to you, but what you have next to you is usually not the healthiest option, you know?
Chips.
Exactly. Chips and Mountain Dew, that's what everyone says, exactly. Right? Doritos and Mountain Dew. And so that's it. It was hard for me. It was hard. Like I didn't really know how to balance that. And then so I kind of just had to really at least for what I had to do, because I was so like on one side, you know, being so unhealthy, was I kind of had to just cut out like the whole snacking in general, and then the whole like kind of playing video games. For me, it was something that I felt like I had to just stop, which is now I realize it wasn't needed. It really wasn't, but in my mind, you know what I mean? I thought, you know, that I had to do this. So then I lose the weight over a period of time. It's been two and a half years.
Okay.
And the past about like 2 months, I've really got back into gaming, and I've realized that it's almost like anything in life it's all about balance. You just have to balance your time.
Yeah.
If you can learn how to balance your time, you could. I mean, I don't want to say you could do anything, but you could do a lot. You know, you could do a lot. You just have to take your priorities. And it might sound silly, like playing video games is a priority, but for me, it is. It's something that I love doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's something that I enjoy doing, and like the community that is behind it. Like since I started playing video games again, and like now that I hate to say like a reach on social media, but you know, I have a social media presence, I guess you could say. Obviously, like there's been more gamers that have kind of come to me, you know what I mean? They've noticed me, especially being I'm with Gamma Labs, so like they've tweeted me out, and like they have a lot of gamers that are, you know what I mean, that follow them, and just the community is actually obviously you know some gamers can be really negative, but a lot of them are super positive, and I think through all this, like I've realized how there actually is like a good amount of people that are playing video games that do want to get physically fit, and like they just don't know how.
Yeah.
And I've gotten so many like emails and so many like DMs and stuff of kids that are like, I see what you did, and I want to do that, you know? And like it's just really cool seeing that there's that like group of people that just haven't been like helped with it yet, and I'm excited hopefully that I'll be able to do that, you know?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Sorry to ramble for
no.
I do that a lot. I'm a rambler.
That was perfect. That's really what caught my eye and thought, oh man, he would be perfect to have on the show, because I think there's a misconception out there that the stereotypical gamer is 400 pounds, sitting in his mom's basement.
You think of South Park.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's exactly what that episode.
I love that
is
episode.
hilarious.
Oh yeah, it's one of the best ones for sure.
But I think that's the stereotype, and that's not it. And I love or it's either that stereotype or they're just a bunch of trolls and they hate everything and they're so rude to people and stuff like that. And that's just not the case.
It's not.
Gamers are so diverse and they're super positive, and they want the things that everybody else wants, you know. And
you got to think like people that it's like people that see it from the outside. Everyone wants to put something in a category, right? Like when I was bigger, people wanted to put me in like you're lazy category, you have no life category, whatever, all those negative things. And now that the people see me posting pictures at the gym, they put me in the whole like, wow, you're full of yourself category. You only think, you know what I mean? So it's like people want to
gone from one extreme
like
to the other.
Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
No,
and but the thing is like, first off, gaming is huge. It's one of the biggest. If you're just straight up say you want to talk about YouTube, right? It is the biggest community on YouTube, and YouTube's huge. You know?
We just, in fact, in our last podcast we talked about this. It has become mainstream media, and mainstream media doesn't even realize it. It's overtaken it. You know.
Yeah. It's awesome. It really is, because it's so diverse, and there's so much that like is, and it's like we're on this like the cusp of some like, you know, that something crazy is gonna like happen soon. At least I feel like there is like the explosion of it being like gaming to it being like pop culture. Like this is, you know what I mean? I can just feel it happening soon.
Yeah.
I really
well,
can.
no,
like,
I mean, look at the size of the Dota tournaments going on.
Yeah,
even
exactly.
The League of Legends tournament
League of Legends,
right now.
5 million, was that what it was at? Or something like that.
Think
huge.
about the YouTubers that like stream that play Call of Duty, right? When they talk to their fan, people flip out. They're like straight up celebrities to some kids. And like it's that, and it's just gonna get bigger because there's just more people playing video games.
Yeah,
because it's just, I mean, it's so fun, you know what I mean? And the games are getting so amazing. It's crazy. It's mind blowing. It really is.
Yeah, no, it is.
it's an awesome thing to be a part of for sure. And I'm very fortunate to I mean, I'm fortunate to be on here. I appreciate you guys asking me to be on the show.
No, absolutely.
Yeah. So, John, you were saying you've always had the consoles. You've always been kind of a gamer. So I'm curious, what's your favorite game ever? Ever, if you could pick any game from the history of games, right? Any game ever, even back to Pac-Man.
Let's go through my favorite game ever. Our listeners will know this, but Red Dead Redemption. Love that game. I've always wanted to be a cowboy, and that just fulfilled my dream of being a cowboy. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
And Jordan is a big Halo guy, right?
It always goes between that and even World of Warcraft kind of gets in there sometimes.
Nice,
but mostly Halo, probably.
So, man, that I don't even know, man. That's such a hard question to answer. I would say.
What if you could narrow it down to like a top three?
A top
three favorite games ever.
Okay. I'm going to throw it back. I'm not even sure. I don't even this is when I was really, really, really young. So I don't even remember what console it was on. It was just on one of the older ones. Do you guys remember that game Road Rage?
Yeah, Road Rage. Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. I played that game. Me and my brother played that game so much. And whenever I think of old school game when I used to play video games, that's the game that I think of, Road Rage. I don't know why, but that's one of my top.
Super Nintendo, I want to say, Road Rage.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah. Because I think
probably all the good ones, all the classics were on Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that, and then I would say I think the first Halo, probably not to steal your thunder, but the first Halo, I think it's for me at least, video games, I think of memories, right?
Yeah.
How much fun I had playing, and I remember that was before online really existed. As far as at least for me, that's before online existed, being able to play online. So we would system link like crazy, right?
Yeah, LAN parties.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We would go to my friend's house, and luckily his stepdad was really into Halo 2. So he was totally cool with us going into all the rooms, having our own TV and Xbox set up, and connecting them and having 12 people. And I remember I would have so much fun, just 12 of us, and we would freak out. When the game was over, we'd all run into the living room, what? Did you see that? And we'd just talk to each other. And I love video games, but I've never been that person that's just amazing and totally blows everyone away.
Uh-huh.
But I have one of my close friends. He's always been that way, just really good. And so whenever he was on your team, or we would literally play us three against him, and he would still win. He was that good. You know, he was one of those guys that just picks it up real quick. And I just remember we would always be like, "Man, you're too good. What are you? You're cheating," you know. And then I guess. I don't know exactly which one it was. This is when I was younger too. But I would say the WWE games, or they were WWF back then.
Mm-hmm.
SmackDown. I think it was SmackDown versus Raw, right when those came out. I remember we would sit there, me and my brother, and then our group of friends. Like I said, games for me are memories, you know, and the fun that I would have. We would sit there and just create our own characters. We would get the games because they were coming out every year. It seemed like. Uh-huh. So. We would get the game. I think this was on Nintendo 64. We would get the game, and the first thing we would do is create a character, and literally sit there for an hour and a half to 2 hours and just try and create someone. And we were always trying to be my guy's gonna do this stuff, and then we would always. So in the game, you could decide what character. What belt your character was going to go for. So obviously I was the younger of the group, so I never got to go for the heavyweight of the world. So I'd always have to go for the intercontinental, or, one of the lower ones. And then my brother always liked to do the tag team. That was always his thing. And then one of my other friends was just one of the other belts, and then our oldest, the guy that I said that's ridiculously good. We would it would be 3-on-1, same thing as Halo, and he would beat us. He was always he would always get the heavyweight title. But I just remember that. So I guess top three, those would probably be what I would think of.
Those are good.
Cool, yeah, good
those
picks.
Are good picks.
Good picks.
I remember playing the wrestling games. I had a friend who was super into wrestling, and he'd always get them, and he'd destroy me because I wouldn't know the moves. So we'd do Royal Rumble.
Oh my gosh!
So I could at least stand a chance, and I would wait and see if the computers could get him out before I fought him.
I remember those games. I've never had so much fun, but been so freaking frustrated I'm how do you know that combination? And it's oh man, I just remember we would argue and straight up be you're cheating. I know you're cheating. You put in a code or something like that. And I just remember that. It was so much fun.
So
but yeah. top 3. That's some nostalgia for me at least.
No, that most definitely. I like what you said. Games are memories. That is,
they really are. Yeah,
I'm going to steal your quote for you. I'm going to use that. That is an excellent. It is true. Games are memories, and that's. I mean,
yeah. Well, even when just thinking back, you mentioned Halo LAN parties. We used to go over to my friends' even our house. People would come over, and the coolest kid on the block was the guy with the longest Ethernet cord. You know?
Oh yes, absolutely. And like
I remember,
just a ton of fun. Do you remember being that kid that was like, at least for me, we lived slightly close to my friend's house, and so this is the old Xbox, right? The first one. The things were huge. We would be walking down the street with this backpack that is like 80 pounds.
People bring their TVs
the Xbox,
with them,
all the cords, all the controllers. We had to bring all 4, you know, and like just like lugging this huge thing around, walking down the street. Luckily, none of us like it got stolen from because it was pretty obvious what was in our backpack. But yeah,
that's funny. That's funny. The new ones though, it's not too much heavier. The new one's still pretty big.
Yeah, the new one is, but it makes sense. I'm sure in a few years there'll be like a slim version.
Yeah, just like they did with the 360.
So speaking of the Xbox One and the new version, what are features that you like? Is there anything that you super love? Did you get the Kinect version or no?
Yeah, I did. I did because I kind of planned on, like when I got it, I was like, I want to stream because I've watched them and I was like, it seemed like I do want to kind of like maybe up my stream soon, like get better technology to make it. You know what I mean? Because just using the Kinect is kind of hard sometimes.
Yeah.
But when I bought it, that's what was the plan. Was like I want to be able to stream and like talk to people because I just saw the value in being able to. I mean, obviously, I'm going to want to play the video games, and then why not just be able to speak to my supporters while I'm doing that? I mean, it just made sense to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I have the one with the Kinect. I really like this, and this was something that I remember reading about that I thought was like really weird at first when you could do like the whole like. I don't even want to say it because it'll probably turn on, but like you can say like Xbox on, you know what I mean? And
did it turn on?
I don't think it did. We're good, but it works and it's cool. You can be like I'll usually this is what my nightly routine is. So I'll stream for about 3 hours from usually about 6 to 9 or 7 to 10, kind of in between those hours, and I'll be done streaming and then right before because I don't eat anything when I'm streaming, I just always forget. Mm-hmm. So right when I'm done, I usually go into the kitchen. But right before I walk into the kitchen, I'll be like, Xbox, go to Netflix, and then I'll go, and then I'll come back, and then I'll be like, Xbox, unsnap Twitch because the Twitch will be on the side all the time, and then I'll watch my net. I like the whole like that you can use the voice thing. Yeah. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, no,
that's actually one of my favorite features, and it's made me really lazy.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Get up off the couch or anything.
I thought it was going to be really creepy, and it still is sometimes, and it gets frustrating sometimes. Like anything, like I'll be playing the game, and then someone will ask me like, "What are you playing?" I'll be like, "Oh, I'm playing on an Xbox," and then it'll be like, "What?" And I'm like, "I'm not talking to you."
Well, you had that problem with Madden.
Yeah, with Madden, it automatically audibles.
Oh, really?
And so I would think I'm doing a pass play, and then. The Kinect would hear me, and it was so frustrating. So I would actually I pull it out when I play Madden. But
no. Oh, okay.
So what about anything you wish any feature you wish was in the Xbox One?
Any feature I wish that you know would be cool would be like if you could like maybe this is a thing. Maybe I'm just not aware. But like if you could like click things with your hand, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Kind of like the Wii. The Wii has that, right? Is that what I'm thinking of?
They have the pointer,
and then the
Wiimote. First Kinect tried to do that where
was it just terrible?
And you can do it in games
now you can do it in certain. You can do it on like the Xbox dashboard. Yeah, it's still not the most efficient, but
yeah. Maybe if that was very like on point, like perfect, that would probably be like.
Although there is one feature that you can do if you're playing a game and you hold your hands out and you close your hands and pull them in, it'll bring you to the home menu. And I just think that's cool. It makes me feel like I'm in a sci-fi movie. And then you do the same thing and spread it out. It just feels
like
cool.
Minority Report.
Like Minority Report. You're throwing the stuff on it. It feels kind of cool.
One thing that I do wish, and this is probably just my internet connection, but when I tried to install Advanced Warfare, it took like 4 hours, and I was just so frustrated. I was like, my internet must be terrible, or this is just how this is. You know?
Yeah, with some games that's more.
Well, I had it took me literally. Because I was super pumped for Mortal Kombat, so I got it right when it came out. I pre-downloaded it. It took a couple hours for it to get to the part where, you know how it goes like about halfway
like 10%,
through. Yeah, and then you're ready to play the story mode. And then I even went to bed that night and woke up the next morning. And it took until probably the next night because I got home from work and
Yeah.
I have fairly decent internet. I think it's just some games, and they've addressed it before that they're going to try and work on the speeds, but
their servers get hammered on launch night, or who knows. But
yeah, I'm glad. Well, I'm glad that I'm not the only one, because I remember it happened, and I was like, "What is going on?"
Like throw in your mom. We need better internet. Come on, guys.
Let's get better internet. All right, this is important.
I know, right? Okay, so you're big into fitness, obviously. You're. By the way, your squats are on point. I've been watching your squat series, and I'm jealous because I can't get that. I can get heavy weight, but when I get heavy weight, my form falls apart. So I'm just working on my form right now.
That's cool that you mentioned that, but yeah, that's something that I've been working on. Like, so it was something that I was embarrassed of, and so I wouldn't squat ever at all, not even slightly, because I guess I've read into it a lot. People that have lost a lot of weight, they're imbalanced because like they're so used to having all this weight on their belly, right? When they squat down, they kind of lean forward, right?
Okay,
and so. That like you get really tight ankles is what it's called, and so I guess I don't know. It's just that's something that I was like really embarrassed about, and I was like, I'm just gonna address this in a video, and I'm just it's one of those things that I'm just so glad that I did. Like I'm really happy that it's fixed. I mean, obviously I got the squat shoes help a lot, which keep your heel elevated, which helps a lot. I mean, I'm not sure if you really care that much about getting your squat form on point, but I would recommend those.
Really?
So
well, I've seen like the CrossFit shoes, which are flat, made for like squatting, deadlifts.
Yeah,
but I just have Nikes, normal Nike shoes. So.
Olympic weightlifting shoes, which is what I have. They lift your heel a little bit, so it just makes it because most people's heels are like they're tight. They don't have the mobility, so it helps when your heel is lifted to get the proper depth. But that's a totally different subject.
Anyways, I'm like I got to work on my form, and then hopefully I go up in weight. But since you're big into exercising. What game? This is kind of an off the wall question.
I like this question.
This is kind of this is kind of off the wall question. If you were in a video game, what game do you think you'd get the best workout in? If you were a character in a game,
if I was a character in a video game, that's a good question. I would. You know what? That's actually funny. I was thinking. I was saying this in the stream, but like any of the Call of Duty games or like any like shooter game, first person shooter, because like. The whole time you're playing, you're not thinking about this dude's probably tired, so you're just sprinting the whole time. You know what I mean? So I think like in one of those, especially in the story mode too, because there's usually like jumping and like that's a cool question. But or like maybe some of the ones where say you're like I don't know. I guess in space you have less gravity, so that would make it easier. Or like I guess a good workout, obviously like UFC too. Those are
the fighting
any of the fighting ones would be a good workout. You get exhausted fighting.
Mortal Kombat. Well, you'd probably die.
Yeah, that's true.
That wouldn't go too well. That was a cool question. I like that.
I thought maybe, and you guys can tell me what you think. I thought maybe Sonic. He's always running. He's all about running. He's in great shape. That's why he's so fast, right?
Sonic, or even. It doesn't look like it, but even Mario, I mean, it doesn't look like he works out, but I mean, that dude's running and jumping and like
punching stuff. Yeah, that dude's in shape too. Jordan, what do you think?
Oh man, I don't know. I was excited for this question. I didn't know I was going to be asked this question. I would go with shooters because you're dodging bullets.
Well, you're fighting
flying.
For your life.
I mean, in Call of Duty, you got the exosuits where you're flying across. I mean. You gotta get tired.
Be exhausting. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Going to battle is not an easy thing. So.
I get extremely tired going to those trampoline parks that just have trampolines everywhere. So I can only imagine.
Oh yeah. So just to wrap things up, gaming. Now that you're back into gaming, what role do you see it playing in your life? What positive role do you see it playing in your life?
Positive role?
Yeah.
That's a good question. At least this is what I hope, right? I really hope that I can show people, and there are a couple people that are doing this as well. That it's not like you guys said this too. Like gaming isn't some like thing where it's like just these punk kids and these kids that are unfit or like don't care about anything other than leveling up or whatever. It's a positive community, and it's awesome. There's awesome people that play these video games, and there's millions, right? And I just want to show people that like it doesn't have to be like I am a gamer and that's all I do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you play games, but you can go to the gym, or you can also, if you have other goals in your life, you can still get to those while still enjoying video games. And that's what I do, at least. And obviously I'm not the best at video games. If you played me at Call of Duty, I'm sure everyone that's watching this would destroy me. But I still enjoy them, and I still enjoy playing them. And you don't have to think of things so black and white. You know what I mean? There's always an in-between.
Yeah.
Just kind of find that balance. And I'm trying to maybe show people that that's what I'm doing. And I'm still working on it too. You know what I mean? I'm trying to find that balance. And it's always – I don't think it's ever going to be something where it's like, look, I've done it. This is the formula, you know?
Yeah.
It's like I'm going to keep working on it, and hopefully I'll be able to inspire people to do the same thing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's moderation in all things, and I think people forget. I mean, even if you were to work out nonstop all the time and that's all you did, that'd be unhealthy for you, right?
Same with video games. You need to rest for sure.
No, everything is positive. Gaming is positive. Just got to find that balance, like you said. So what would you recommend? Final question. What would you recommend to someone who's sitting there in our audience or listening to this, playing games, and wants to get in shape? Maybe isn't in shape or was in shape and got out of shape. What would you recommend? First step they should take.
First step. This might sound kind of weird, but look at your diet, because it's something that people, at least, especially me, it's something that people really they don't realize how important it is. And I always say that diet is 90% of it. Now 10%, that isn't important. Like the gym is an important 10%. It's very, very important. But 90%, like you can't outrun, you can't outwork a bad diet. So if you're sitting there, if you're still playing video games, you want to get fit, you gotta like at least be aware of how many chips you're eating. You know, how many sodas you're drinking. Be aware of that. Realize, okay, this is what's really making you, even if you're underweight or overweight. What it is mainly is the diet that you're consuming. So look into that and try and get that on point as much as you can, and then look into, if you don't even have to, I mean, I couldn't afford a gym membership when I first started losing weight. So just do, you know what I mean? Look up home workouts. You can always do that in between. Like if you're playing Call of Duty, there's always like about a minute in between each game. So if you want to do some push-ups in between there, you know what I mean? You can do that. But
hey, that's a good workout plan.
My number one tip would be definitely look at your diet and just do some research on that. There's tons of videos online. Like everything I've learned from YouTube. So, and I'm sure that you guys can attest to that. There's so much information on there.
Oh, absolutely. Awesome. Well, hey, thank you so much, John, for
no problem.
being on the show.
I had a great time.
You literally are the epitome. Our slogan is positive gaming and Xbox One community, and you are the epitome of that. and so thank you so much for all you've done and for being an inspiration to so many people. Where can people find you? How can they support you?
So my biggest social medias are going to be Instagram, so it's at obese_TO_beast, so obese to beast. And then my YouTube channel is just youtube.com/obese to beast. And then Twitter, those are my main three, is just same as Instagram, obese_to_beast.
Nice. Cool. Yeah, and I would highly recommend.
And then also my Twitch is twitch.tv/obese to beast.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, and I would highly recommend check out Instagram or YouTube if you're looking to get inspired before you go to the gym. That's what I do. It helps me out. Not that I'm the most in shape person or anything, but
hey, one step at a time. Exactly. Anyways, thanks so much, John.